Divine friends, it is a lunar eclipse and Chinese New Year. Okay. And I feel like that is very significant and very prominent for a turning point in our lives. All right. This lunar eclipse is taking place in the sign of Aquarius. If you follow Western tropical astrology, it is also taking place in the sign of Capricorn if you follow Eastern or real star sign placement. Okay. Now, I was feeling very pulled that messages today are coming through from Anubis and Hecate, which makes sense because they are very, very much opener of the ways, threshold guardians, and guides. All right. So let's dive in and see what message they have to say to us under this energy. All right. And I'm feeling like let's do a reading kind of like the weekly intent, like the weekly divination forecast. Let's see how we need to work with this energy of the lunar eclipse and Chinese New Year for our best benefit. So first we're going to start with what is it that we need to know? What is it that we need to be aware of under this shift in energy with this lunar eclipse and Chinese New Year? Okay. We have Chthonius, stability, bondage, and knowledge. And I'll show you those cards in a second. Okay. So, Chthonius. Okay. And we have Melanoni in the background. I feel like that's important. We have bondage, knowledge, entering the mysteries, Ma'at, and Isis. Okay, so I'm feeling like the things that we need to be aware of, and I'm feeling like we need to keep in the forefront, is where it is that we came from, when we're leaving the year of the snake, all of the mental bondage, all of the darkness that you had to walk through, and keeping this knowledge, everything that you've learned about yourself, as well as it's like that forefront, keeping your transformation, how far you've already came. Okay. And stabilizing in that energy, because just because there is, I'm getting like work that you have to do, like you might not be exactly where you want to be. You are entering into new rooms, you're entering into new places, and this requires balance, and for you to come from a place of magic and holy embodiment of your god slash goddess energy. Okay, so the big thing here, we are remembering where we came from and all that we went through to get into this more balanced space, stepping into our God-like energy, the stardust that flows within our veins. Okay, so this is what we need to keep in mind. Now, how do we need to work with this energy for our best benefit, good friends? Let's dive in and see. How do we need to work with this energy of the lunar eclipse and Chinese New Year for our best benefit? Okay, so we have Demeter, loss, cycles, ooh, Propylaea, guardian, Circe, transformation. We have sacredness, higher love and wisdom, alchemy, and Kephra. Okay, so the energy is, and I feel like this is a big point of why Hecate and Anubis were saying to keep the energy of all that you have transformed and all that you have done in the forefront, because I feel like cycles can come up, all right, and we don't want to get tied into loss. There may be something that is like cyclical that may trigger you in some way that kind of brings down this energy of depression or just seeing loss in some way. All right. There is the energy of being guided in the darkness through this transformation. I'm also getting how important is this to even get tied into this loop or this cycle. Remember, we are walking through thresholds. We're walking through to new thresholds of our own sacred divine energy. And that's why we have the energy of a higher love and wisdom. Know that things are transforming and shifting and changing. All right. So within that, I'm getting like when things shift and transform and start to take off, things can start to feel a little unstable, a little scary. All right. If things start to take off, right? And energy starts to move where we were more in this reclusive place before, where we were in the energy of shedding things, not really in the energy of soaring through to new parts of the wheel and change shifts, as well as planetary changes and planetary shifts, which I think is obviously relevant here. You're headed into these new places, so you're stepping into a higher love and wisdom because there is timing and direction here. But back to what I was saying, when things start to get momentous after being on like a pause and an incubation period and a shedding period, things can seem a little alarming because things are starting to take off. Energy is starting to move that was not moving before. Alarm bells may start to take off and set off. Again, this is where you step back into a place of um, groundedness, a place of stability, and remember everything that you have went through to prepare you for this, and know that with this energy, things are taking off, things are finally moving. I'm feeling like things are finally shifting and changing. You're moving to a different part of the wheel, a different part of the cycle. You are done in the phase that you are currently in. Keep that in mind. All right. This is the message that I'm receiving. I love you guys. I hope everyone has a great day and great energy to come.